Oh, that's gross. He's sniffing my ear. Tito, quiet. Yeah, good boy. Come on. So this is my 1-year experience living with a raccoon. And I feel like the most important thing is when you are thinking about getting your own pet raccoon, ooh, or if you're just looking for some insight on what it's like to have one, the most important thing is like how does their personality change as they grow up. People always say that when they find a baby raccoon, their biggest regret is that they ended up giving them to a rehabber. And I think for the most part, giving them to a rehabber is the smartest decision, because most people have them for their golden years. And by that I mean the best time to have a pet raccoon is when they're a baby. And that's usually about, hold on a second, try and get the door. I'd say that's about from the age of, from when they're born to when they are turning 3 months, because their personality changes so much just over that time period. When they're babies, golly. Alright, well there goes Tito. So when raccoons are babies, they always look to you for guidance, and that's why it's like the best time to have a pet raccoon, because you don't have to worry about them misbehaving as much or trying to run off and do their own thing. But the older they get, the more they become independent. They don't need you. They become more brave than they were when they were little, and so that's when you start running into some problems. God, there's so many bugs around here. People always ask me if Tito knows his name, and the answer is yes. And when he was a baby, he used to listen really well. I'd call him once and he'd come running the first time. And so as he's gotten older, he's become more stubborn. And so when I call him, it might take 3 or 4 times before he decides it's not too much of an inconvenience for him to mosey his way over. And so when they don't listen as well, this is when things can have you can have a problem with them. And that's because, like, if they ever get something that they shouldn't, it's very hard for them to stop trying to steal it or destroy it or whatever it is. And this also plays an effect, like when they're playing with you, they can get really aggressive, and then they don't stop as easily if they're not listening to you. So this is what I mean by they want to be more independent. All that is just me saying they don't want to listen to you as much. They'd rather go explore, go steal something that they shouldn't, destroy something that they shouldn't. And so you just gotta work on the discipline, and I'll go into more of that in another video. But that's the reason why people can't handle raccoons, is just because it's hard to get them to listen to what you want the older that they get. When they're babies in their golden age, they'll listen first time every time. My biggest worry is that whoever gets a baby raccoon lets them do kind of whatever they want. A lot of the behaviors that are cute and innocent when they're little become to be really big problems when they're fully grown. And so, like, one of the things I did was let Tito bite my ears, and of course that's super cute when he's little, but now that he's 20 pounds and pretty strong for his size, it doesn't exactly feel good. So those are the behaviors you need to cut out when he's little. Even though it's cute and you want him to do it, I definitely don't recommend it, because that's what creates the huge problems later down the road. And so you just got to be mindful of, would I want him doing this when he's 20 pounds? Even though he's only 2 pounds now, can I still handle this behavior? I think about the 3-month mark is when I started seeing these problems in Tito. It's not that they're problems, but like I have to watch him way more than when he was little, because first of all, he wasn't as mobile when he was little, and second of all, he always stuck by my side no matter what. He needed me for survival. So anyways, it was about the 3-month mark where I saw that Tito's personality start to change. And this was just because he wants more independence. That's, if you think about it, makes sense, because raccoons, they spend about a year with their mom before leaving her and going doing their own thing. And so that's not a whole lot of time for them to start developing their own personalities and starting to do what they want and preparing themselves to leave in the future. So at that 3-month mark, I started seeing these traits in Tito, and I took him for a walk one day, and I never leashed him because he'd always follow me. But it was this day that he wanted to do a little bit more exploring. He wanted to sniff more things, but I just kept walking, and if he got too far behind, he would run up and catch up to me. And at this one point of the trip, he saw like a storm drain, and he looked at the storm drain, then he turned back to me, and just I knew what he was planning. I knew he was gonna run for it, and sure enough, he just darted after it. And I tried to catch him before he went down, but he ended up making it before I did. He ended up just falling like 2 feet down into the storm drain. I was like, I literally had no idea how I was gonna get him out. I didn't even know if I could get him out. It was like a 6-inch gap, and it was like just big enough for Tito to fit down. And I was like, great, I don't know what to do. So I called my parents up, and I asked for a car jack, a stick, and some food. And we lifted up the stone slab, put the stick down, and lured him to the stick with a piece of steak. And it took us about 30 minutes, but we eventually made him back. But like after that, he's always been leashed in public. When he's in my backyard, it's all right. I think he's somewhere up there. I don't know if you can see him, but he's way up in the tree. Yesterday he climbed one of our trees and then made it to our neighbor's yard by crossing a tree branch that was connected to it. So I gotta be a little bit more careful, but it's the first time he's ever done it. It's not like I didn't know where he was going, but yeah. So he's oh, there he is. So he loves climbing. He doesn't climb like he used to, just because I think he's getting fat. It's a little bit harder for him to climb, but I'm gonna start dieting him pretty soon, I think. And I'm also gonna start like some training sessions. Oh, hang on, Tito. And so hopefully we can get him back to a healthier weight. But anyways, yeah, the point of that story was to let you know that like their personality changes quickly, and a lot of people think raccoons are all innocent and cute, but the older they get, the more they want to do things on their own. The stronger they become, the sharper their claws are, and it's just kind of crazy like how fast it escalates. And so they have a tendency to destroy things like chargers and stuff. I've probably gone through 3 iPhone chargers, and people just see them as babies, and they're like, oh, this is the cutest thing, but they really don't know what they're getting into. And I mean, I didn't either, because he was a rescue, and I didn't research anything about what it takes to raise a raccoon. It was just happened to be at my office, and I knew he wouldn't survive. But it's been about I think 13 months now, or about there, and he's doing well. Definitely better than I ever hoped, considering my lack of experience with raccoons, but it's turned out great. And yeah, so if you're thinking about getting your own, just know that their personality changes quick. They won't rely on you like they used to, and as the bigger they get, the stronger they are, the sharper their claws get, and like I get cuts all the time like this, and you just gotta be careful. Yeah, they like climbing, so they're gonna climb you, and it's cute when they're a baby, but when they're 20 pounds, it's a bit more painful than when they were little. So just keep that in mind, and if you try to take on the adventure, then good luck with it, and keep me updated on how it goes. Oh, and make sure that it's done legally and ethically, and yeah, so make sure you got the space for it. That's all I gotta say. Thanks. Bye.